Let's understand what's the road ahead for this sector with an expert on the subject joining us on the show, Sunil Rohkale. He's the MD of ASK Investment Holdings, who joins us in our studios in Mumbai. Sunil, good evening. Thanks a lot for taking time out for us. As you were listening to the banker, and you must be aware that the cost of capital overall for the banking space has been brought down, and the tenors have been adjusted so that they can go ahead, which was restricting them to really allocate capital for infrastructure. Tell us, and also of course the announcement that even low cost housing will be termed as infrastructure. What would your reaction be to these two announcements which have come this evening?
I think I must congratulate the finance minister and probably the RBI, because what they have done in this budget and the finance ministry's and the RBI's announcement today is the structural change in real estate. I think the budget has given the big gift to the real estate industry, which was awaited for long, which is real estate investment trust, which probably where financing to the income yielding assets was only limited with banks, but now with REITs coming in and REITs getting listed, unlocking the income yielding assets which are currently sitting on the bank's book against receivables or sitting in the developer's balance sheet, probably will get unlocked. So that's a significant step which is for the real estate industry. The second part is the structural reform of classifying the less than 50 lakh rupee loans in the metro cities and less than 40 lakh rupee loans in the non-metro cities, the rest of the country, under the affordable housing, and bringing affordable housing under infrastructure, correct, which is probably a significant step. Most of the banks had constrained in the past to have asset liability mismatch, because housing loans are typically very long term and the borrowings what they do is very short term. By virtue of they now going in the market and raising capital which is long term, 5 to 7 years, and looking at less than 50 lakh rupee home loans, which probably traditionally means they are lending to the first time borrowers. I think this industry's track record in terms of the non-performing assets in this particular bracket is significantly very good, and hence it is a good quality asset. Long-term money banks are going to raise. This money is also kept away from their net time and demand time liabilities while calculating the CRR SLR. So I think both these significant changes definitely helping real estate industry, which probably was awaiting a long time the boost.
Sunil, you did mention that to some extent, some of these norms that we've seen will draw those who are in the market to look at low income housing, which is 50 lakhs and below. But in terms of, a reality check, is there demand there? Do you see, a consumer sort of coming out there and buying houses?
Okay, I think the demand for the houses which probably less than 50 lakh rupee houses, there is a substantial latent demand, and there is a demand which is probably waiting on sidelines to have a clarity on whether the interest rates are going to get stabilized and going to go down in the near future, whether the property prices probably can stabilize or can have some incentive to really come and buy those properties, and they are not definitely going to go up. So I think the segment which probably which we are talking about, less than 50 lakh rupee home, which probably is more predominant in the cities like Pune, cities like Bangalore, cities like Chennai, Hyderabad, and peripheral part of maybe Mumbai and peripheral part of the Delhi NCR. But definitely the city of Mumbai, city of Delhi, which probably is beyond the common man's affordability, and most of these cities like Mumbai and Delhi, you need upward of ₹1 crore to buy a home. So these kind of initiatives are not really going to impact these markets, but markets which are driven by the first time borrowers, the markets which probably are quoting between 4,000 rupees to 6,000 rupees per square foot property price, and typically 800 rupees to 1,500 square foot house, which probably fits into this particular segment. And our observation is that this particular segment is consistently have done well even post global financial crisis. What have not done well is the luxury housing, which is the top of the pyramid in terms of demand cycle, which probably could be 2 to 3% of the country's demand. But the supply in that segment probably is disproportionate to demand, and that's where we see more inventory overhang, more sluggish sales there, and the property prices kept on rising because of rising cost of material, rising cost due to delay in project approvals, and so on and so forth.
Right. Sunil, you run funds and even advise, on large commercial related real estate transactions also. Tell us how that end of the market was reading the fine print this budget, because we understand that a lot of incentives have been provided for real estate players to access capital via the REIT way. Do you see transactions happen in the near term? Because we understand, a lot of listed players were chasing such deals.
Yeah, I think the developers who have built these assets, which probably are the assets which grows proportionate to the growth of Indian economy. And in the last 2003 onwards, the way Indian economy has grown have created the space for good quality office space, good quality IT buildings, and so on and so forth. So most of these real estate players have diversified into the commercial assets, IT assets, and the other income yielding assets. What had happened is that we discussed the real estate mutual funds at least 4 years back, but because of the willpower, because of the tax clarity issues, nothing has come to the table, and most of the developers who develop these assets have to build these assets, and the assets remain in the balance sheet of the developer. Now, I think at this point of time, with a balance sheet which probably is debt ridden, the slowing sales velocity, and developers are cash trapped, I think they were looking at some amount of assets which can be unlocked, and these real estate assets which are income yielding, which are tenanted assets, which are good quality assets and going to remain in a limelight, probably will get an opportunity to list as a REIT. And now every uncertainty which is around REIT is been clarified, and I clearly feel that some of the listed developers probably who are holding significant portfolio into of commercial assets which are income yielding probably will take advantage. Some of the unlisted developers also who probably have got these assets, and these assets are typically in the top 5 cities: Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, Hyderabad. These assets are typically assets which are used by banking financial services. They are mostly used by IT, ITS, and so on and so forth. So these assets which are occupied by services-led industry is going to grow, because the services contribution to the GDP is not going to come down, but in fact it is going to go up. So these assets are going to have a lot of opportunities, and I'm not surprised if the next 6 months time we could see the first REIT getting listed. That's a part of the story. The second part of the capital which probably also got available now to the smaller projects in real estate by tweaking some of the FDI norms for real estate, because the FDI norms earlier used to force the foreign dollars to really get invested into projects which are little larger in size, like 5.5 lakh square feet or 25 acre, which was redefined to 2 lakh square feet now. So that means smaller projects can also attract foreign direct investment, which is good news. The minimum investment amount, which probably was earlier was 5 million, also has reduced to 2 million. So I think the whole approach of the government directionally and in reality is to make available more domestic as well as the foreign capital for the commercial assets and the core residential, which is affordable housing.
Yes, I'll ask a question to you, Sunil, very quickly. How do you see prices headed from here on? Because, there's one viewpoint that as more and more people bet on this economic revival, we will see financial assets perhaps do a lot better than real estate. Would you tend to agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's quite clear that last at least 8 months, the listed markets have done extremely well than probably the real estate markets. Unfortunately, real estate market, there is no listed market, so you can't really figure it out whether the property prices are going up, stable, or going down. But my fundamental the point here is that the property prices probably, there's no question of property prices going up. Maybe the property prices at this point of time can remain stable, or the developer or industry probably is in the interest of more cash flows, more liquidity, and hence more sales is more expected. So while designing the projects, every developer is ensuring that they are designing projects which are catering to less than 1 crore rupee homes and not really luxury homes, because that's where the whole challenge is coming. The point here is that ultimately the housing demand is a lot to do with the income generation, interest rate, and infrastructure development, which probably is is around the corner, and that means the end customer is going to buy, and when the end customer is going to buy, there is no reason for one has to worry that whether the real estate demand will be there or not. There is a latent demand of real estate which definitely exists, and I do feel that the one significant thing probably industry has still not got, and which is a long overdue for the real estate industry, which actually adds to the substantial cost and substantial affordability issues comes because of the delay in approval. Because this industry, now we have given him an industry status by virtue of infrastructure classification, I think government, the central government and the state government also need to look at a single window clearances so that the approval of the projects are done within the time limit, probably is not inbuilt in the sales price, and which probably could be the important thing, along with the regulator, because regulator also probably will help the industry to really enhance the image, which probably it doesn't have. So I think prices at this point of time seems to be remaining stable. So I think it is good time for the end customers to buy.
Sure, Sunil. The wish list is always much longer than what's provided for. Thanks a lot for taking time out for us this evening and joining us on the show with your perspective.
Thank you.
Okay, let's keep it then with the budget, where of course it was widely expected that import duty on gold, which was not reduced,